Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the episode today. It's Mercury retrograde, so we're going to be playing around with a lot of things during today's episode. I'm sure of it. So let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. We are blessed and honored to be on the channels of YouTube and Facebook for Karma and Luck. And we have an action-packed episode for you today. We are going to be giving you a lot of juicy predictions, overall predictions for 2022. We also have what you can expect for your astrological sign. We're going to go through all the signs. We're going to be talking about your birth month stone and what it means. So lots of really good stuff. But I think before we get too far into this, we should introduce ourselves. So Nura, if you wouldn't mind telling us who you are and a little bit about you.
Of course. Well, it's such an honor to be here. I'm an astrologer. I love all things mystical, all things magical, all things embodiment. So that's really my emphasis with astrology. How can we take this big cosmic story and really ground it down into our everyday lives? So that's why I'm so excited to be here and connecting with you and with Karma and Luck as well. Anything else that I should say?
I think that's good for right now. We have a lot. I have pages and pages of things we're going to go through because I want to make the most out of this time we have together today. I am Dallisa HOCKING. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Spirit and Spark. I'm a 5th generation psychic medium. I love all things energy, and I often talk with Nura about what's coming up and what we have in store so that we can better prepare. And we love that we get to share our insight with you today. 2022 is going to be a wacky, wild year, but we are going to break it down for you, so don't go anywhere. I'm going to give you a piece of advice right now. I would grab paper and pen. Really get ready to take some notes because this isn't going to be some fluffy, prediction show. We're going to get straight to the point here, and it's going to be filled with a lot of valuable content. So again, thank you so much to Karma and Luck for having us here today. And like I mentioned, there are going to be a few things that we're going to be going over. But before we get too far into this, I would love it if you are watching this, whether you're watching it live or you're watching the replay, can you drop a comment, Facebook, YouTube, and let us know what is your astrological sign? What is your zodiac sign? So Nura and I are both Sagittarius. Our birthdays are very close together. But Nura, if you had to take a guess, what astrological sign do you think is going to comment the most on this video?
I saw some Scorpio energy really popping in earlier. So especially with the nodal shifts, I'm going to guess Scorpio.
Okay.
Maybe.
Scorpio. I think I'm going to go with Gemini.
Ooh, yeah.
I think the Geminis are going to represent during this stream. So, all right, Scorpios, Geminis, hey, prove us wrong. Maybe you're a Leo and you're like, hear me roar, and you want to start filling the comments. This is also a great time if you know anyone, friend, family, a coworker who's into astrology or predictions, psychic predictions, tag them or send them the YouTube link. If you're watching over on YouTube, we'd love to have them come and join us. We actually are going to be giving away prizes, giveaways. So you want to make sure you stay tuned so you can figure out how you can enter to win. We actually, I think while we're on it, why don't we just talk about, karma and luck, right? So look at our bracelets.
I know.
I love it. Anybody in the audience, if you have one of these red string evil eye bracelets, can you comment and let us know? Like, who's on the red bracelet train?
I love this bracelet so much.
I know. Okay, so, and thank you, Karma and Luck, for sending us that. And because we're both, my banner. We're both Sagittarius, and this video does not do it justice, but these are the constellation necklaces for Sagittarius. But Nur, do you mind sharing what you were telling me backstage about how your daughter wants your bracelet?
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, first of all, it came in the cutest packaging ever, and this sweet little bag, which I just love. And it's so dainty and sweet. So she thought it was hers. Of course, anything that's small and sweet. She's like, is that for me? I'm like, maybe I'll just have to get her one.
Maybe you might. Hey, we've got a 30% off code scrolling at the bottom of the screen. That code, I should mention, is not good for forever. It's actually going to expire, buy it today or tomorrow, but like, that's it, because the code is not going to work past then. So yeah, I really like the bracelet. I agree. The packaging is great. Like, you open it and you feel like you're getting this treasure, right? Mm-hmm. I really like this bracelet because, and I don't want to speak for you as well, Nura, but I do believe in the power of intention, the power of thought, and what you focus on expands. And so kind of like how, married people have their wedding ring, to me, wearing jewelry that has specific meaning and intention to it, it's a physical reminder to keep this in check, because what you think is what you end up attracting into your life. The bracelet for me is a lot about protection and things that I don't necessarily want in my life. I want to keep it away, the negative energy, the dark energies, the dense energies. So this bracelet helps to ward off that energy and repel it away from you. So I think this is going to be like my daily bracelet that I wear now. Yeah. What did you think of the necklace that you got?
Well, I just love anything that's personalized and tailored to me and my energy. And I totally agree. There's so much around that programming, like what we're looking at. You can program a crystal, you can program, the crystals in the necklace, you can program the energy every time you look at it. You can be reminded of your purpose. And so it's featuring the Sagittarius, which is both of our suns. And whenever I think about the Sagittarius sun for myself, it being my personal sun sign, I'm reminded to stay on target and be living in my purpose, be living in authenticity with my path. So I just love that visual reminder as well. And it always feels good to be acknowledged and to be seen and know, like, wow, I'm representing this whole soul group.
Yes. And I have to say, I wrote this down on Karma and Luck's website. If you look up which necklace, what constellation necklace is associated with your astrological sign, there is a mantra that goes along with it. And our Sagittarius mantra is, I am on a path of destiny. I am on a path of destiny. I was like, yes, we are. Yes, we definitely are. Okay, perfect. I'm going to show a few of these up on the screen. We've got Bella Luna from New Mexico. Thank you so much for joining us. Catherine from Henderson. Yeah, Catherine, you may have seen a Karma and Luck store there. They've got a few locations. Oh, we've got a Leo. Oh,
you called it in.
Perfect. Okay, we've got a lot of different. Ooh, Capricorn might be in the lead right now. There's a few Capricorns in the comments here. Ooh, I'd say Capricorn, Scorpio, and Taurus are the ones that are leading the pack right now. So comment and let us know what your sign is, and let's see who wins this contest. Sarah's saying, yep, got the red The red string bracelet. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, let's just see if they're. Oh, look at this. From India. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. So keep the comments coming. I will keep an eye on it, and we'll be showcasing some of these through today's episode. Okay. So I'm going to be sharing the birthstones. All right. And Nura is going to be talking about the characteristics and what each sun sign can expect from 2022. But before we do that, Nura, I'm gonna ask you to give us your overall thoughts on what we can expect from 2022. It's a tall order, but I know you've been doing your research. So what do you think about this year?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this year personally. The shift of Jupiter into Pisces. So, Jupiter, the planet of expansion and really bringing us into connection with our higher selves and our aspirations for what we want to create. In Pisces, the sign of the dreamer, the mystic, the poet, the artist, the one who is on a journey of conscious creation, whatever that means, whatever that looks like. So, ever since Jupiter moved into Pisces late December, and he's here for about 2/3 of this year. He's going to take a little dip into Aries in the summer. But I feel this Jupiter in Pisces energy, which is one of his favorite places to be. Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. So he's like in his home, in his mystical home. I really feel like this is the year for all things intuitive expansion, really leaning into, oh, I can create in alignment with my higher self this year simply by tuning into my affirmations, my mantras, my prayers, my meditations. And it feels very accessible. It feels very present. And I feel like, especially with all that's gone on the past couple years, we've all been in this really beautiful chaos. It's been very hard, but I think a lot of people have been coming forth in greater beauty and really showing up with all that we've got, all of our light. We've got to bring all of our light to the table. And it feels very much like Jupiter in Pisces is setting this tone for greater healing, clearing, integration. So I'm really excited about that. We also have
We need that, by the way. We need that. Like,
yeah.
we've had a couple of years that, I mean, I don't need to say that. Everyone watching this knows. It's been a hard couple of years. And so to be able to be in the presence of a year, 2022, where big things are possible, where you can be optimistic, where you can be led by light and hope and joy, we all need to be taking advantage of that.
Absolutely. And there's so much there's just so much potential here when we lean into this remembrance that we're not here by ourselves, creating by ourselves. We're here in co-creation with spirit. Whatever way you connect with spirit is wonderful. And that's actually another really beautiful thing about the Pisces is it's non-denominational. There's not just one way. It's like the reminder that the path is wide, the reminder for unity, unification, really almost transcending the duality that we've really been in. So I'm very excited for that. And my hopes are that this optimistic energy of Jupiter and Pisces helps to smooth out some of the intensity of some of the other placements that we have going on this year, because we do have a Pluto return. So in the United States, especially. So I feel that this will influence around the globe because we're all connected economically, especially. So thinking about the root chakra energy is really lit up. I was actually going to guess Capricorn might be one of the other most prevalent signs because we've got Venus in Capricorn, and Venus is that magnet. She's how we attract from our point of attraction, our resonance. And so Venus in Capricorn, she's been here since late November last year, all the way through to March 5th of this year. So she's really leading the way with a lot of her magnetic energy. And Capricorn is a sign that's associated with the root chakra, which has to do with security, feeling safe, feeling that belonging. So Venus in Capricorn, Pluto will do the Pluto return in Capricorn. There's a lot that's transforming around our root chakra, around our ability to stay safe, our foundations for our lives as individuals and collectively.
Yeah, I'll throw this in. So I was somebody was interviewing me earlier today, and she asked me, what's your word for 2022? and I said resiliency,
Mm.
because I feel this deep connection to the energy where we're going to be called to really go within, to be resilient, to be courageous, to be brave. And I know some people watching this, they might not understand astrological terms whatsoever. And so maybe they've heard of the root chakra, right? But when we talk about like the energy of the Pluto return for the USA, what kind of signature of the energy would be aligned with that event that happens in February?
It feels very much like a dismantling of the economic structure as we know it. And so if we think about what this country was founded upon, and the certain, economic systems that it was founded upon, and some, energies of inequality and things like that, like we've seen all of the social justice warriors coming in and making it very known, how we get to be more inclusive, more equitable, how we get to redistribute resources in a new way. All of these things, like these are the conversations that everybody's having, and that feels very Pluto in Capricorn. It's like transforming everything from the ground up. And then if you think about even building a house, if there's something off about the foundation of the house, you're not just going to start, on this top level of the wall. You're going to go all the way down to the root. You're going to weed out, like, what is it that is not serving the whole, because we want to be building on strong foundation. So it's really just, it's actually a very beautiful thing. It's just the energy of collective healing, transformation. And sometimes you have to dig inside the parts that are in pain or wounded sometimes to get to, okay, now we need to apply some love here. We need to apply some healing. We need to be able to see it to know what's really going on. So there's a lot more that's being dredged up from the depths, coming up to the surface so that we can see it from my perspective, so that we can love it. I think that whatever comes up from the shadow is just asking for more love, for more of our conscious awareness and attention. And if we think too about the nodal shift, so we have recently the North Node entered Taurus, South Node Scorpio. That's why I was calling in the
And
Scorpio.
what does that mean? Because some people hear that and they're like, what are nodes? What's a north node, a south node? Because we know it just switched over into Taurus, Scorpio. And we were talking about like the dredging up. That feels very Scorpio to me.
Absolutely. I think the Scorpios are going to have a lot of fun this year because they're probably going to feel very called forward, because they have a lot of the skill of being able to transform, understanding that life is a series of deaths and rebirths and transformation. So Scorpio tends to be able to confront the scary stuff. And because of that resiliency, the emotional resiliency of Scorpio, they're probably going to attract a lot of people who probably want to lean on them and ask for, how are you so able to be so emotionally clear, so emotionally pure? So that's a really big part of what we all get to learn more about with this South Node in Scorpio. So basically, the nodes, they are of the moon, and without going too deep into the astronomy of everything, they are an intersection of where basically the moon is going around the earth is going around the sun. It's an intersection of the ecliptic and the moon's orbit around the earth. And so it stays in the same sign for about 18 months. And essentially, we can say South Node is energy that is really being integrated from the past. Sometimes it's about being released. Sometimes it's about calling in a gift. And then the North Node is what we are endeavoring toward on the opposite side of the spectrum to bring in more healing, more integration, more balance. So you can almost say the North Node is what we're all learning collectively together, and the South Node is what we are all integrating and releasing. So we're all coming into greater abundance with the North Node in Taurus, or learning around how we can be in our prosperity frequency as much as we can, how we can really build strength, because it's also a very strong earth sign. Fixed earth is a lot about strength building and understanding our inventory, like what are the resources we already have working for us. And then with that South Node in Scorpio, it's like, well, where do I have emotional attachments maybe to what was, right? So there's a lot of that going on.
I'm seeing a lot of it with my clients where they're going through these huge shifts of what relationships work for me, which ones don't work for me anymore. What am I going to carry forward in my life? And where am I finally just going to say, you know what, this isn't for me anymore? So there's a lot of purging going on.
There really is. Yeah. So I would say these are the top themes for this year that we're going to be working through. There's quite a few other things going on around with Saturn, Uranus. There's a square between them still for this year. And that I think is very present in the economy. Saturn in Aquarius really has been, I think, the representation of the restrictions and the mandates and the social restriction. Like we just have not been able to be as we were out in society since Saturn has entered Aquarius. And what Saturn does is he constricts things, he makes things tighter. But I think there's always an opportunity if we just want to flip perspective, because Saturn also invites concentration. So we've been able to connect even more, some of us, with our soul family, with our tribe, with the people that we're really here to work with and collaborate with. And also in platforms like this, online things. So a lot of people have had to learn how to be able to connect in a new way by being on these platforms. So I think that's still going to be a lot of what's going on. And then the Uranus and Taurus part is saying, new inventions, new technology, new ways of doing things, new routines, could be new ways of making money too with that Taurus component. So there's friction there, right? Because it's calling us out of our comfort zone. But again, I think it's just this calling forward into what else is possible? What else are we capable of? What else can we create? And I think just staying in that energy, staying in that place is the best way to navigate these changes. There's a mantra with Uranus and it says, choose change before change chooses you. And so if you already know that there's like, oh, there's this routine or this, this early morning habit that I know that I've been needing to do, this would be the year to do it because you're really going to see the payoff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Get to it. Everybody, you heard Nura. We are off to the races this year. So creative ways of earning money and some bravery, some resiliency this year. I want to just dive right into taking a look at the different birthstones for the different months, because that's going to play directly into what you're going to share around the characteristics of each zodiac sign and what that sign can expect from the year ahead. Because people have been commenting with their astrological sign, and I know they want to hear, well, how does this apply to me? What kind of vibe can I expect? And that's what we're going to start with. So I think we start with Aries. What do you think?
Aries likes to be first. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do the April birthstone. And I know that the astrological signs don't exactly match up with the month as a whole, but we still want to go through all these. So again, hope you have your pen and paper handy as we go through these. But let's talk about April's birthstone. It's the clear quartz, and it's known for spiritual growth and asking you to really go deeper, which is perfect for this year. And it's a great conduit for clearing energetic blocks. I love programming clear quartz for meditation practices and holding it. And you can program clear quartz to really work with you in a variety of different areas of your life. So let's go into Aries. So we talked about the April birthstone, but Aries, I'm going to put a really cool looking graphic up on the screen. Look at us go. All right, so let's talk about it. And all the Aries out there, I want you to comment and represent. Comment that you're an Aries, and let's see, what are your characteristics and what are in store for you this year?
Yes. Hello, Aries. So some of the characteristics of Aries, and this is true if you have your sun in Aries, but also your moon, also Aries rising, or just a lot of strong planets in Aries in your chart. So Aries is yang, cardinal fire. So yang is energy that is seeking to create something outward. Cardinal means it's an initiator. So you're here to begin something, you're here to do something new. And fire is very much about creativity and intuition. So you're really here to be very active with your creativity. You have strong instincts. A lot of times Aries is very quick to move, and it's great because it means you can create directly from spirit very spontaneously. So you really need to be able to move according to your personal will, your desire, what you want to create, and really allowing your impulses and instincts to guide your creation. So do you want me to go also right into the predictions for the year?
Yeah. What do Aries have in store? What's coming for you, Aries?
Yes. Okay, so Chiron has been in Aries for a while, since
And
20.
Chiron's the wounded healer, right?
Yes. And I like to reframe Chiron too as the empowered healer, because when we go through our wounds, we tend to gain all of this wisdom around what it is to really represent the highest energy. So Chiron in Aries, all of you with strong Aries in your chart, you've been carrying the torch of healing for the collective. So thank you also. You're doing wonderful work. And there's so much here around being activated into your sacred warrior. And this warrior can look a lot of different ways. It could be a light warrior, peace warrior, social justice warrior, a liberating warrior. There's so many things, but it's all about self-healing and active integration. So Aries, you get to unravel all of your subconscious programming that limit you in any way. So really looking at anywhere that you feel stuck in a box. And with Jupiter, remember I mentioned Jupiter earlier, he's that planet of expansion and higher self aspiration and connecting to this co-creation with spirit. Jupiter's going to take a brief dip into the early degrees of Aries this summer. And so this will be a year for you to really expand into your sense of self and honor the call of your spirit. You're so supported in this.
Sounds like a big year if you've got a lot of Aries energy in your chart. And there's a resource you can go to and put in your birth information. There's free natal birth chart calculators online, so you can see the placement. But you always want to talk to an astrologer to understand all the dynamics and all the placements. It really is helpful. I've been going to astrologers for years. Shall we go to Taurus?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the birthstone first.
All right.
So it's May, so we're just looking at the month of May, and it is the emerald, okay, which is known for clarity, manifesting love. It's actually the crystal associated with the goddess Venus, and it helps you to actually see future visions of events before they occur. So you want an emerald if you perhaps want to practice even developing your own psychic or intuitive abilities. So that is May's birthstone for the emerald. But we've got Taurus up on the screen. So what are the characteristics of Taurus?
I love that you spoke about the future piece, because the North Node is in Taurus, and that's the future that we're collectively creating. And I really think of Taurus, especially since it's an Earth sign, is so much about embodiment. So when you are in your body and you're in your senses, there's so much information coming through there. It's so instinctual. So Taurus is yin, fixed Earth, yin in that it's energy coming in. So there's a lot of internal understanding, fixed in that there's something about sustainability, having a really strong, sustainable energy. Taurus is very, of course, it's Earth, so very connected and rooted to the physical realm. And when you connect with the highest essence of Taurus, you are bringing in stability, reliability, self-sufficiency. And sometimes you could be slow to change because you found your things that you really love. But this is, of course, as we know with that Uranus and Taurus, is a big year for changing, but changing for the best. Because Taurus, you are really here to bring in more beauty into the world, and comfort and pleasure. And with your ability to really add value wherever you go through being grounded, practical, this is really also a year for you to really stand in that strength, to be seen for all that you do, all that you are, just by being you. It's not even having to necessarily step out of who you already are to be something different. It's like, just be you and allow yourself to be witnessed in that. A lot of people are going to be searching for the stability that you naturally embody. So this is a really great year for if you are wanting to do any sort of teaching or any sort of movement work around being in your body, being present. This is a really good year for that. Or if you just want to learn those things and really tune into those skills, this is a year for really accelerating toward your goals. So everybody right now with the North Node in Taurus is going to be looking at, how can I embody the highest essence of what Taurus is here to bring? And so that gets to be, you get to be front and center. You get to be the leader and the example.
Big shoes if you're a Taurus, and comment and let us know if that made sense. The characteristics of a Taurus. Did that ring true for you if you are in fact a Taurus? What do they have in store for this year?
So with the North Node there's a lot of, again, that energy of people are going to be really looking at them and watching them. I feel like whenever we have the North Node in a sign, anybody who has that sign prominent in their chart is showing up in some way as a leader. So the energy of practicality and stability, since we've had so many changes, we need some things to feel more stable, to stay the same. So there's going to be change, but we don't want to throw the whole baby out with the bathwater, right? Like there's certain things that we need to be able to lean into. And so the energy of really establishing strong foundations and then being open to, well, where do I get to liberate myself from anything that I've been stuck in? Because Uranus is in Taurus. So this has been long term, but Uranus combined with the North Node in Taurus, there's going to be a conjunction this summer of Uranus North Node. So it's going to be like almost like a slingshot, like being catapulted forward into even greater physical embodiment. So you can, if you're doing your meditations and your mantras and your affirmations and your healing and clearing work, you can really use this time to exponentially grow your prosperity, your abundance, and also be able to share that with your communities.
This is sounding pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So we like it. And looks like we've got KTL. Sounds about right. Oh, and May, thank you so much for your comment and for tuning in. Let's go ahead. I'm going to share the June birthstone, which is the pearl. The pearl is known for gaining wisdom through experience, and they are believed to offer the wearer protection and also attract good luck and wealth. I think we should all be wearing a bunch of pearls. Yes, I love that. Okay, so Gemini, let's go ahead and put our friend Gemini up here on the screen. So and this is my rising. So what is a Gemini? What's the characteristics of a Gemini?
So Gemini is yang, mutable air. So yang, energy moving out, mutable, it's always changing. It's always changing perspective, and it's air. So it's very much about the stream of consciousness as it comes through words and expression and logic and ideas. So Gemini being ruled by Mercury really brings incredible mental agility. So again, if you have Gemini rising or Gemini in any of your personal planets or strong Gemini in your chart, chances are you're a conversationalist. You're able to connect with people through communication. And I really feel that Gemini is here to master the art of relating. You are the messenger, the forever student. You can make an excellent teacher. And really thinking about this, the duality energy, if we always think about the two-ness, even the twins of Gemini, there's something around learning the multiple perspectives of reality and then staying open and non-attached and really appreciating the duality and the alchemy potential when we keep an open mind. So really good at seeing things from multiple perspectives. And another way to say that would be appreciating the relativity of truth. So I feel like that's probably why you're so good at what you do, Dallisa, because...
Oh, well, thank you. No, but you nailed it. I really feel like that's what Gemini, that energy really embodies. So all of our Geminis, comment and let us know if that hit you, if that makes a lot of sense. So come on, what's the Gemini energy for 2022?
I have a feeling that Gemini is going to feel a nice sigh of relief of almost taking the pressure off this year, because last year from May 2020 through to this past January 18th, the North Node was in Gemini. So there was a lot of focus on understanding and unpacking duality, polarity. Also, the Gemini was just the focus of everyone's attention, the news, the media, who's right, who's wrong, opinions. There was so much polarization that the Gemini was actually really being called into the highest essence of how to navigate and understand all of these different forms of truth. So there's going to be this shift out of, instead of just having to be in the mind, getting to be in the body, again, with that nodal shift of Taurus, Scorpio. And this year, Gemini gets to apply all that they've learned. And so it's not just going to stay here in the mind, it's going to become tangible. And it can be very supportive for community innovation. This could be a year that the Gemini really gets to feel really confident and practical. And you will probably be asked to get moving and take action on your knowledge, especially once Mars enters Gemini in August. And he's going to stay there for the final half of the year. So a full 6 months with Mars in Gemini. And Mars is the planet of our action language and where our vitality is really flowing through us. And Mars is important because he's a planetary ruler, or one of them, of the South Node in Scorpio. So there's a lot about, well, what are you going to do with this information? It really does not do any good to just have it bouncing back and forth in the mind. What are you going to do with it? So if you've been thinking about putting a course out, or you have a message to share, this is the message. This is the year to really put that message out. And don't be shy. It's okay if not everybody agrees. And you probably already know that.
I love it. I think that's great. Let's move right into July. The birthstone of July is the ruby, and it's known to be protective over negative energy or low vibrations, and to bring more happiness and passion to the life of the wearer. So if you are looking for more happiness and passion, and we got Valentine's Day right around the corner, then ruby would be really aligned with you. So it just like sparks a whole lot of creative energy when I like think about a ruby. But let's go ahead and put our Cancer friend up here on the screen. So all you Cancers, go ahead and comment and let us know where you're at. What are the characteristics of a Cancer?
Hello, Cancer beings. So Cancer is yin, cardinal water, yin, energy moving in. Cardinal, this is another sign of initiation. So starting something new, lifelong. Cardinal is also very associated with identity. And then water, which is emotional. So you have strong emotional intelligence, empathy, strong ability to attune to other people's needs so that you can meet those needs, so that you can support them. You're very sensitive, and it is so important to be in an energetic clarity, because you can so easily take on the energy of other people because you're so empathic, because you want to meet everybody's needs. There's the energy of the great mother with Cancer, the one who's able to intuit a need before you even ask for it, right? So you might be doing that. And so it's so important to, really cleanse your energy and really learn about energetic boundaries and things like that, just always. And then also to be able to take time for self-care, and also, as much as you might need to be needed, allowing yourself to need other people, because we're interdependent. So leaning on others for support. And there's also a strong energy of protection and emotional safety. And I feel like, especially for this year and all that we've been moving through in the world, everybody is wanting to lean into more of that emotional safety. Because we've been moving through so much. And I've been thinking a lot about the nonviolent communication as a trend. And I don't mean to belittle it by calling it a trend, but it has been part more of the conscious dialogue everywhere you look, is, nonviolent communication. And I'm so happy to see that. And I feel like that is another way that we are evolving, all of us together, and into this more more copacetic, more, finding ways where we can bring more emotional safety so that we can all feel safe to show up and be who we are.
Yes. So the themes for Cancer would be for this year.
Yeah. So with that, there's an opposition between Pluto in Capricorn and Cancer. So you've already been feeling this actually since 2008, but this is going to continue.
More Cancers.
Yeah, and whenever we're working with oppositions, there's always the energy of relationships. So there can be a lot of learning about boundaries in relationships, generally speaking. And then if we add that Venus in Capricorn energy, it's just going to bring more intensity to the opposition. So the way I'm looking at this energetically, it could be more heaviness at the beginning of the year, but it will wane. And especially when we come into the Jupiter conjunct Neptune in April, there's going to be more water. So this is like water healing, water release. And since Cancer is a water sign, it's going to benefit immensely from this. And then, of course, the South Node in Scorpio. So this is a really good year for Cancer and really all water signs to be focusing on healing and clearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. Cancers, stick with it. Resiliency. You've got this. You've got this. So let's go ahead and talk about August, the August birthstone, Peridot, which is known for its properties of strength and balance, and it's thought to harmonize the mind and body, bringing more joy and creativity. So with that, let's go ahead and transition over to Leo. What are the Leo characteristics?
Yes, love my Leos. So yang, fixed fire, yang, energy moving out, fixed in that there's a sustainability energy. So a lot of leadership. Fire is through that creativity. So you're really here to be in creative expression, to be an individual, to be seen for your gifts and really able to shine your light. Sometimes this means you're learning about internal validation, which ultimately becomes confidence. And this confidence is very inspiring for those who see you. So a lot of, you might notice, people really feeling gravitated towards you because you're confident in yourself. And then it becomes what you're sharing and teaching. And it's almost like, oh, you give people permission to shine their light because you shine your light. So really beautiful. Thank you, Leos. A lot of energy around being a naturally motivating force. And we need that, right? We need that coaching to stay in the light sometimes when there is so much going on in the world. So thank
yes,
you.
Both of my parents are Leos.
Ooh.
So yes, and my brother and I are Sages, and my parents are Leos. So we had a whole lot of stuff going on. But for the Leos, what can they expect for this year?
So Leo is still receiving some oppositional energy from Saturn in Aquarius. So if we think back to that, Saturn Aquarius kind of restricting a little bit of what's going on in the world. The Leo is almost helping to balance that out by, maintaining individuality and healthy boundaries, really knowing who you are as an individual, and then still honoring the needs of your community authentically. So how can it be a both and? There will be more opportunity this year to address any internal tension because Aquarius Leo is also square Taurus Scorpio. So these are all the fixed signs. And so the whole fixed cross, we call it, is going to be activated. And the energy of squares, they simply mean dynamic tension, and they are very, very creative. So if you're able to see the tension as an opportunity to be creative, it will be so supportive.
Okay, that sounds like a whole lot of energy for Leos this year. Okay, let's take a look at September's birthstone. It's the sapphire, which is believed to attract abundance, blessings, and gifts to the person who's wearing it. It also invites clarity into your life and also protects you from evil or dark energies. So the sapphire, I love when I was putting this together with the different birthstones and the qualities, because, we'll hear about like, oh, the pearl, the sapphire, but it's like, we never really sat, at least I didn't, and like really think about the month that birthstone is correlated to and what the powerful energies are that come from it. So let's go ahead and move right into Virgo.
Yeah.
So Virgo, what's a Virgo like?
Yes, I love my Virgos. So Virgo is yin, mutable earth. Yin is energy moving in, so very much about the internal realms. Mutable, it's always changing, and it's earth. So there is a strong connection to the physical world. And the way I view this is Virgos are here to make the world a better place. They are here to improve it for themselves and for everyone. There's a lot of gift of organization. And I know not all Virgos vibe with that. Like not all Virgos feel like they're super organized and clean all the time. But that might be, something that you're endeavoring toward, or at the very least, clarity within the self and feeling really organized in what you're creating. So strategy is really important for Virgo. Also purity. And I mean that in a non-judgmental way, but purity in the body and mind is really important for Virgo, and really emphasizing discernment, like this is good for me, this is not good for me. And also again, releasing any ideas of overly perfect, like there's no real perfect, right? Like perfectionism tends to be something that comes up, but it's like we can always be in a state of improvement with and at the same time already be enough. So there's a lot of invitation into self-love, and this actually leads right into the energy that Virgo gets to experience this year.
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, so Virgo is opposing Pisces, and with that Jupiter in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces, there's a lot of room for full self-acceptance this year. So this is a really great time to acknowledge your progress, to know that you are always improving, and yet you are also already good enough. And sometimes it's more about who you get to be rather than what you're doing. So, really, especially with the other Earth energy, because the North Node in Taurus is Earth and it's going to be trining. So almost like pushing forward the Virgo energy. You might feel like very productive this year, but just remembering you get to really call in that energy of Pisces to balance out anywhere that you might feel performance anxiety or any pressure to be perfect. So there will be a lot of mental integration this year, especially after being squared by the Gemini Sagittarius nodal axis for the last year and a half. So I really view this as a year to just take a deep breath in and out, let it all go, and let yourself be this year.
Yeah, I think we all just need to get really good at deep breathing and meditation and journaling and mindfulness and all that. But I think we're probably, talking to the audience right now that really aligns with, the spiritual way of being and energy. And I love that there's so many people watching right now and commenting and interacting. And I appreciate all that. Okay, so let's take a look at October's birthstone, which is the tourmaline, which is known for reducing fear and building self-confidence. It can also act as a conduit between Earth and other spiritual realms. So tourmaline, and that is such a powerful crystal. So that is October. So let's go ahead and talk about Libra.
Amazing. So Libra is yang cardinal air, all about learning balance. So cardinal, again, very much about initiation and identity. And if you think about the emphasis of relationships with Libra, it's a lot of learning about relationships through mirroring, understanding your values and how they might contrast with other people's values, and really learning how to be a peacekeeper, but also having strong boundaries. So knowing when it's okay to agree to disagree is also very important for Libra. And there's always the opportunity to evolve our love languages too. So we don't want to get stuck in like this idea of like, I can only love in this way. And the Libra, you are really here to learn to expand your love languages and really to master the art of relating in all its forms.
Okay, what do they have in store for this year?
Yeah, so Libra, you're learning a lot about how you get your personal needs and wants met, and also how you express that in relationships of all kinds. So there's an opportunity to bring in a lot of healing, especially in decision making. So if we think back to that Chiron and Aries, Aries is opposite Libra. And if we think of Aries as really, knows what they want, able to take very spontaneous, decisive action. If we think about some of the shadow of Libra with indecision, Libra can actually lean more into this Chiron and Aries, and lean into instinct. So you get to be more in touch with your true needs and your true self, and make decisions from a place of internal clarity. And there's still creative tension that allows for transformation of your values. And like I was mentioning before with some of the squares always bring creative tension. So there's a square between Pluto in Capricorn and Libra, so Libra planet. So it tends to look like, well, who do you want to be out in the world? And then who are you within yourself? And then where's the contrast there? And then how can you really make where must there be compromise, and where is it non-negotiable in how you show up and who you get to be?
Beautiful. Libra, you've got some cool activations, I feel like, this year. We had a comment come in that I just want to, Chris H. I thought it was opal. So about the birthstone. So here's something really interesting that I didn't know until I sat down and started preparing for this. There are actually a couple of different birthstones for each month. And so you can go online, you can find out more, karmaandluck.com. You can look at they've got information on there about the stones and things like that. But yeah, I thought it was a great comment because you're right, Chris. You're right, and we're right. We're all right. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about November, which is citrine. And it's known for helping the wearer manifest their biggest dreams, their biggest, juiciest dreams. So this is the citrine. It also acts like the sun energy, stimulating your soul into action. So if you need some action and stimulation, get yourself some citrine. And with that, we are going to roll right into Scorpio. So what are the Scorpios like?
I love that. Acting like the sun energy, stimulating your soul into action, especially the whole South Node in Scorpio thing this year. So I'll talk more about that in a moment. So Scorpio is yin fixed water. So a lot of energy moving in, highly intuitive, very connected to emotional power. You're really here learning the path of transformation, death, rebirth, regeneration, especially after loss or change. So I imagine a lot of people are going to be coming to you for support with those things because we're all going through so many changes. Scorpio is on the pathway of connecting more intimately to the mysteries of the soul and really just deep healing for self and other. So Scorpio is pretty much always on a lifelong journey of trust in self, trust in other, trust in the universe, God, goddess, spirit, whatever your terminology, and trust in life. So this is a big year.
It's going to be a big year.
A big year for the Scorpios because you get to let go of all that does not serve you anymore. That is huge. So every sign, so each node stays and each nodal axis we work with for a year and a half, and every sign's going to have a year and a half as we go through every cycle to really purge. And it happens every 19 years. So, the Scorpios can look at, well, what were you purging 19 years ago? You might be doing a little bit more of that again. So this is a year for major detox, emotional processing, reclaiming your power, and claiming your gifts of emotional intelligence and being psychic, perhaps, or being able to see what not everyone else sees. You might notice that more people are coming to you to receive your energy. And so what comes natural to you will be something that everyone is learning more about. And I notice a lot with Scorpio energy, there can be this learning to really step into power and know that you are here to be powerful. And that sometimes is something that's not always understood and not always fully owned. So if you fully own your power and don't be afraid of it, you are going to be able to create so much and be able to help a lot of people.
Yeah, it's going to be a big year for healing, I feel. So those of us, like being a psychic medium and transformation coach, and you being an astrologer and teacher and guide, right? It's like, I'm sure there are plenty of people watching this on YouTube and Facebook, and they're like, oh, I've been thinking about being a healer. I want to step into it. Like, this is the time, folks. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to really need that help and that healing. And so if you feel called to be a guide in that way, I feel like it's your prime time for that. So, woo, okay. Scorpio, big year for you for sure. Let's talk about the December birthstone, which is the turquoise. At least the birthstones I'm going off of for this broadcast is the turquoise, known for giving you protection and also helping you with enduring love, wisdom, tranquility, and good fortune. And you should feel a deeper sense of peace when you wear turquoise. And I feel like that's true. And this is our month. We're our December babies right here. So let's jump right in. This is going to be good. So what are Sagittariuses like?
Yeah. So I always feel when I talk about Sagittarius, like I'm tooting my own horn because I I really do love Sagittarius energy. So it's yang, mutable, fire. So energies moving out into the world makes sense, right? Like the archer with their goal moving forward to something. It's mutable in that it's also very changing. So that brings a lot of spontaneity and being able to switch paths at any moment, really leaning into the fire of our intuition. That's really going to guide us as what we're exploring on the horizon. So Sagittarius is really here to explore what else is possible to experience in life. This is the sign of opportunity, expansion of consciousness, and learning also from all the different kinds of truth tellers that there are in the world, because Sagittarius is really on a quest for truth, but that is truth of all of humanity. So a lot of times that might be looking outside of the culture that you were born into, which is also why Sagittarius typically loves to travel. It's because you're like, whoa, there's so many different ways to see life. So there's a lot of the energy around being a teacher, which I am, so I totally understand that. And being a mystic explorer, and this can be explorer of, different cultures and traveling, but also an inner explorer too, the inner realms. And there's also a very strong affinity with the natural world. If you think of Sagittarius as the half horse, half human, the centaur, it's really connected with instincts as well. So this year, Sagittarius, we get to integrate all the new knowledge and understanding that arrived this past year, because we actually just had the South Node with us. So I know I was doing a whole bunch of clearing of all of my limiting beliefs. So that's what was going on last year. And I actually feel really spacious now to really integrate all that I learned and again, be able to use it on a very practical level. So there's a deep need for applied knowledge and information for Sagittarius. And this will also like refine the focus. If you ever feel like you're an archer that is like pointing your arrow in all the different directions, this is a year to refine that focus and also connect with your community and notice how your community is going to inform that focus for you. And so especially if you're in the realms of teaching, learning, if you're just connected with where other people are, you're going to know what the people need, what people want to learn. And so that can be, it can make it easier to narrow it down. And this is also a year for questioning belief systems, getting closer to truth, finding ways to share what you find that resonate with who you are here to serve too. So a lot of, meeting soulmates, karmic contracts, these kinds of things for Sagittarius this year.
Action packed, Sagittarius. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about January's birthstone. That's the garnet, which is known to increase the energy around gratitude and service to others, and it can help you achieve specific goals that you have in your life. So if you want to maybe have a little bit more of a humanitarian angle this year, or work with more nonprofits, or how you can help your community, get some garnet. And this is leading right in to Capricorn. So what are the characteristics of Capricorn?
Capricorn, you have a spotlight on you this year for sure. So Capricorn is yin, cardinal, earth. So energy moving in, very much about initiation. There might be a lot of quite literal initiation into new levels of leadership this year for Capricorn. And it's earth. So it's very much about resources. And Capricorn, I really see as the mystical builder. So you are connected to the resources that are required to build a sustainable future. And so this is the sign of discipline, dedication, responsibility, and leadership. So you really get to embody the privilege and the honor of the wise elder, no matter your age. It's like just knowing that people trust you and you're reliable. So this year, especially with the Venus in Capricorn, and she's the planetary ruler of the North Node. So she's spending especially this first solid chunk of the year and that's in your sign. There's a lot of magnetism towards that energy of practicality. And so wherever you are on this journey of wisdom, the world is going to be looking to you for guidance, especially how we can make the best of the resources that we already have. Because Capricorn is really good at taking inventory. and creating systems that are beneficial and make things more efficient as well. So, where we're moving as a collective, we're really going to need that new systems, efficiency, making things more streamlined as well. So, Capricorn, you get to transform anywhere that you've been holding yourself back as a leader this year. Casual.
No big deal. No big deal. We're just all going to look to you, Capricorn, as you put in your notes, the wise elder of the Capricorn. It's like, oh, whew, responsibility. I have said for years, though, if you want a project done and over the finish line and done well, give it to a Capricorn. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have some people who I work with who I wouldn't have it any other way. They're with their Capricorn energy, and they're so, so helpful. They help me to be more systematized with my, wild, mutable Sagittarius energy.
Yes, we need the balance. We need the balance for sure. Okay, Capricorns, you got a big mission this year. Okay, let's talk about February. February's birthstone is the amethyst. And this is known to offer the wearer stress relief, who doesn't need that, right? And more profound spiritual power and connection. And it's great for purifying your chakras too. So I love amethyst if you hold it during meditation, just to help clear everything out as you're doing your meditating. Okay, Aquarius, what are the characteristics of this sign?
Yes. Aquarius, young, fixed air. So sustainable ideas. So, Aquarius, you are the innovator, the change maker, sometimes the activist. This can also look a lot of different ways. There's not one way of being an activist. And sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's quiet. But nonetheless, there is typically an energy of innovating something and also being the observer so that you can know what is needed. I always feel like people who have strong Aquarius in their chart make really good, HR people, because you understand people and where they're going to excel and what their strengths are. Aquarius is also the scientist, the inventor, the genius. It's an archetype of exploration mentally, especially around what will serve humanity as a whole. So another element of being the observer is that trend spotter and being an influencer as well. So the visionary energy of Aquarius, I mean, this year with Saturn in Aquarius, still, you get to continue to purify and refine. And where Saturn is transiting is always bringing us greater mastery. Like, we just get to get better and better and better at whatever it is that we're doing where we have Saturn transiting. And so Saturn has been asking you, Aquarius, to get very clear on your message, what it is that you're putting out, what you're here to do, for who, and why. So, I mean, if you're doing any sort of marketing energy, this is a year to really use that Saturn influence, because he's going to help you to be really refined and really focused. So with the influence of Saturn, you might sometimes feel that like, ooh, there's a lot to do. There's a lot on my plate. Sometimes the burden can be heavy when you're holding so much and thinking about the world. But the invitation is also, how can you channel that into concentration on a project? So if you're focusing on a project, because Saturn always wants to help you build something, if you can use that energy to build something, no matter what it is, you'll feel a lot less anxious if that's something that you're working through. And that energy of being devoted to something really serves the Aquarius. So there might also be some tension, because just like Leo had the square to the nodes, Aquarius has the square to the nodes. So again, creative tension, creative opportunity, finding new ways to share your gifts and be who you're here to be. So again, the internet, right? Online things. This is a perfect example of Aquarius. It's like maybe we were limited in certain aspects out in the world, but we just found new ways to connect. We don't let the restrictions stop us from connecting and being in community. So it's really supportive in that way for Aquarius as well, to just see, well, yeah, I can be creative. You can't stop me from getting my message out.
Oh, Aquarius and Leo. Woo, woo, woo. Leo's and Aquarius. You've got some action this year. I'm going to show a couple of comments before we move on. So Ellen is saying, yippee, February babies. I'm most definitely an amethyst girl. And then I just have to put this up on the screen because it's funny. This is not my husband at all. Nothing Aquarius fits him. I swear he doesn't know his real birthday. And I would say to that, there's so many aspects to your birth chart in astrology that there's just too many ingredients, that make the whole recipe work. And so there could be some interesting placements in his birth chart that maybe he feels more than the Aquarius sun.
Totally. This is something too about the sun signs in general. It's what we are becoming in life. It's not what we already are. So we're learning to become our sun. We already are our moon and our rising sign. So a lot of times people tend to identify a lot more with their moon and rising, and then they're becoming the sun. So it tends to become more and more through as we go through life. We start to connect with them all a little differently at different times.
I love that. I had never heard that before. So, okay, well, we're getting to my moon right now, which is Pisces, but let's talk about the March because now I'm curious because the Gemini was perfect for me. And not that this show is all about me, but I am learning while I'm sitting here listening to you. Let's talk about the March birthstone. And we're going to talk about Pisces. And then we're also going to give everybody a reminder on the prizes that we're giving away just for being part of the audience here for this episode. So March, your birthstone is aquamarine, which is known for transformations and rebirth. It embodies purity, loyalty, and healing connections to the sea. Like that just sounds, I just want to bathe in aquamarine now, So with that, let's go ahead and talk about our friends, the Pisces. So what are they like?
I love Pisces. So Pisces, yin, mutable water. So very internal, also always changing. Think about the ocean. There's what you see on the surface, but there's a whole other thing happening beneath the surface. So the water element is, of course, it's the ocean. It's holding all. It's holding all. It's also connected to the cosmic womb that we all return to. And if you think about the ocean, is all water inevitably flows back to the ocean. So Pisces is that sign that is typically able to get along with just about everybody, to have understanding of all different walks of life. And because of that, there's a strong energy of being a mystic and wanting to understand these big cosmic truths. And I find that when you go on that mystical journey, you just want to create beautiful things. And sometimes it's you can't even explain these big cosmic truths. So you want to create something, right? Maybe you want to make music or make art or write a poem, and it'll help you feel something, and it invokes an emotional response. And that can help you to almost explain these big cosmic truths. So Pisces has a very strong connection with spirit, and it doesn't mean being religious, and spirituality looks a lot of different ways. It's just being connected with the spirit of life that flows through all. And so this is the sign of oneness, intuition, healing, and just learning and embodying full on self-acceptance and unconditional love.
Okay, so what do Pisces have in store for this year?
So remembering that Jupiter is in Pisces for a really big portion of this year, Jupiter makes everything bigger. Whatever he touches, he expands. So this year, Pisces gets to undergo profound consciousness expansion. And this can bring more clarity around issues that you might have been working through actually for the past decade, because Neptune has been here long term. So I think since about 2012 or so. And so there's a lot of energy of sometimes confusion, like the dance between confusion and clarity with Neptune. But with Jupiter here, I think there's going to be a lot more of a direct access. So if you've been, working on your psychic clarity and things like that, this year seems like a really good year. It's the more clear you are in your, especially in what you're taking in energetically, because remember, we're all the time receiving information and energy from everyone and everything. So it's almost like if you do the work to stay as clear as possible, you're going to receive downloads, like lots and lots of downloads. So if you have been thinking about, learning clairvoyance, or brushing up on your intuitive skill building, this is a year for sure. And also that, the artistic side of Pisces, this is also a beautiful year for creativity, and a lot of really good movies tend to come out in the years that Jupiter is in Pisces, and a lot of good music. So if you're in that sphere as well, this is a good year to just take advantage of that Jupiterian expansion. I would also say for Pisces that, allowing yourself to rest too is another way that the Jupiter in Pisces can manifest. So because there's so much healing and clearing going on the planet right now, you might be literally a light worker who's like doing so much with your energy that you don't even know. So sometimes just being where you are and not even trying to do something specific, and just resting and taking it slow, can be the highest service for humanity, because remember, we are most easily able to serve when our well is filled, when we are clear in ourselves and have everything that we need. So that's a really big focus for Pisces this year.
I love what you're saying about tapping into your psychic abilities and leaning into your intuition more. Again, kind of that call for healers, right? Like let's step up and let's help our communities and help the world in ways that maybe we haven't done it before. So speaking for myself, being a fifth generation psychic medium, I'll see, I'll hear, I'll feel, and I'll tell you, as of recently, I've started having really profound premonitions in dreams. And I've had strange premonitions for years in regards to like true crime and being in locations right before crime happens and getting those downloads. But the dreams are new. And so that could fit, the Pisces energy, and how even somebody who does this for a living, I'm getting information even in a new way, myself, with that Pisces energy. And I don't know if somebody out there needed to hear that or validate something that, the dreams are powerful. So you have to pay attention to those too.
Absolutely, they are. And I feel like it's so important just to say too, especially if anybody's newer at astrology who's listening to this, it's like these archetypes, we are also evolving them. It's like we inform the mysteries just as much as the mysteries inform us. So it's like always take what resonates and then leave the rest too, if something like doesn't fully fit, and let it be a doorway of exploration. It's not supposed to be an invitation into a box by any means. It's really just for self-awareness and curiosity and reflection.
Yeah. I'm going to tell everybody about the prizes, the giveaways that we're doing. We got through all the signs. So if you missed your sign, don't worry. You can watch this video again on the Facebook page, or you can find Karma and Luck on YouTube and watch the YouTube video, because we went through every sign. We did the overview of 2022 in the beginning. I said my word for this year is resiliency. There's going to be a lot of things you're going to have to work through this year on an individual level, and things that are going to be happening around you. I know we've gone over on time tonight, but I do look forward to more conversations about what really is going to be happening in these different pieces throughout 2022. There's a lot of twists and turns, and it's going to be a year that's going to be incredibly important for you to slow down, rest, ask yourself, is this true for me? Is this what I want? Is it time now that I let that go and allow the transformation, allow the rebirth to happen? Because if we're just trying to grip everything and control everything that we're doing, it might be a bumpy year. So can you surrender just a little bit more and go inward and ask, what am I here for? What am I supposed to hear? What am I supposed to do next? Because if we slow down just enough, the answers are always there. And hopefully you have, the physical representation of, this is why I'm here. And I mean, I know we talked about this earlier in the show, but I love these necklaces so much, because I remember going to Sedona a few years back, and I was with an astronomer, and we're looking up at the different constellations and just feeling so connected to the sky. So I love that I can wear the Sagittarius constellation around my neck. And yeah, I'm just thrilled that we got to do this tonight. But before we say our goodbyes, we want to make a note that there is a link in the description of this video, whether you're watching it on Facebook or YouTube. And you've got until 11:59 Pacific time tomorrow, which is January 28th, 2022. And we are going to be giving away through Karma and Luck 3 of the Zodiac red bracelets, as well as 3 of the necklaces from the Zodiac constellation line. So we will be notifying the winners. So make sure you check your email for that. And yeah, I'll say no cash value, all rights reserved. I don't know. I always feel like you have to throw that in when you're like giving something away. Yeah. And then I really feel like what you focus on expands, as I mentioned earlier when we were talking about the pieces and having a physical representation of where you want to go and what thoughts you're creating, what you're manifesting into your life. So if you feel called to do so, in the comments of this live stream, if you want to comment with something that's really going right for you, or one thing that you are grateful for in your life, I think that we can all kind of celebrate those comments and really help continue to point us in the direction of hope and joy, and knowing that we are exactly where we're meant to be in this moment, and everything is unfolding as it needs to, as it should. And as Rumi the poet once said, living life as if everything is rigged in your favor. So Nura, is there any last things you want to add before we close out our broadcast?
I'm so grateful for community. I feel like in a world where everything is changing, it's such a blessing to have these spaces. And so it's been such an honor to be able to share with you all, and always with you, Dallisa, and this Karma and Luck community. So I'm feeling, like with everything, we have to be cautiously optimistic, but I totally agree with that Rumi quote. It's like believing that everything is rigged in our favor, even if sometimes it looks really challenging. It's an opportunity into how else do we get to expand? What else is possible?
Absolutely. And I'll just share a few of these that are coming in here as we wrap up. I'm grateful for my coworker who got me into this new spiritual path, and also patience with self and others, embracing love and discernment. Beautiful, beautiful. Keep those comments coming in. Let us know what you're grateful for today. Nura and I hope to be able to connect with you one day very soon. And thank you. Thank you, Nura. Thank you, Karma and Luck. Make sure you go to karmaandluck.com. Check out their Zodiac and Constellation collection, and make sure you use the 30% off code that's scrolling at the bottom of your screen. And that is not going to last long, so make sure you go and do that right now. All right, we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.